Hi guys, welcome back to Chinese TCG Store. Today I have a market watch for you. I'm going to go over some of the most recent sets that we've got. I guess Darkwing Blast and Magnificent Mavens, which will be coming out very shortly. Go over some of the cards, and then kind of relate that to the YCS over the weekend. This is not going to be like a typical market watch where we kind of go over a bunch of different cards. I know somebody mentioned in the last video that they wanted me to get together like a list of cards to pick up. So I think I'm going to try to do that on the next video, but on this one, since it's not really like a pickup video, it's just kind of things to like keep your eye on based on tournament results. I'm not going to make that list today, but I will make it tomorrow, which I think tomorrow I'll be going back to just doing like a regular market watch. The first card here is Bestial Rebellion. So if you watch the YCS, Bestial was one of the top strategies as far as like an engine that a lot of different decks played. I saw tier limits playing it. I think I maybe saw sprites playing it. There was a Bestial Dragon Link in the top 8, I believe. Made it all the way to top 8, I think. If not, it was top 16. There's also a Bestial Thunder Dragon that went pretty far up as well, I think in the top 16 as well, or at least the top 32. Just a lot of decks playing Bestial, and that was like the top cut deck, so I'm sure it was pretty prevalent throughout the entire tournament. It's just a super good engine, and honestly, it performed kind of to where I thought it would be. I definitely saw it shutting down tier limits turns, which is kind of what I wanted to see. So I'm really happy with that. Right now, the Bestial Rebellion is at $77 almost, which makes sense to me. I kind of figured this card would settle between 75 and 80, which is why I did pre-order mine when they were below 60. So hopefully if you wanted to get these cards, you pre-order them as well, because unfortunately the entire Bestial engine is up quite a bit in price. If you wanted to buy these, I think they might come back down over the next week when more copies kind of come available, but I think it probably will stay above 65. But if you are patient, you might be able to get some for 65 to like $68. But we'll have to see. Boxes are at 72. With the market price of 74. Honestly, would not open this set because really you only have the Bestial Rebellion and Fenrir being, kind of almost worth the value of one box, and everything else is far below that. So to me, it's not really worth it. It's kind of like a lottery, which a lot of boxes are. It's if you pull both of these, obviously you're doing really good, but the chances of that are really low. It's even pretty low to pull one of these. I mean, obviously it is nice to have an expensive ultra rare because ultra rare is a little bit easier to get. But if you don't pull either of these, then the most expensive card after that would be Blazing Cartesia, which is $28. Which I honestly don't think this card will stay up this high either. I think this card should be more towards $15 to $18. Even though it did see a little bit more play this weekend than I thought it was going to. For Fenrir, it's $63. This card's insane. If you don't know what it does, it's just a crazy card. You can pretty much play it in almost any deck as a 3-of staple. Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth $63 for an ultra rare. I would wait and see if this price can come down. I would be looking to pick these up for like $40, maybe. I think 40 is kind of more fair, even though that still seems high as well for an ultra rare. But $63 is just, to me, not worth it because I can get away with not playing this card, even though I would like to. But if you're wanting to pick this up, I would wait because it really has nowhere else to go but down from here. Like, unless, I mean, I just don't really see this card being $70+ personally, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. It is low on listings though. There's only 33 listings. Tier limits Rukalos. Tier limits obviously taking the win from the YCS this weekend. And they did take up, I think, 50% of the decks in the top 32. I think maybe even over 50%. And then by the time we got into top 16 and top 8, it was also 50%. So they held their strength throughout the tournament and took the win. And surprisingly, Flundereeze came in second, which is pretty awesome. I do like to see that deck doing well. As far as price point on this, at $20, this is played at one copy, so you really don't need to pick up multiple of these. And I do think the price is going to go down from here. I could see this more towards like $8 to $10 personally, but let me know what you think. I'm not going to go through all the cards. I'm just going to kind of go through the top end of this set of what I saw doing really well over the weekend. Sprite Sprint is at $18. this card's really good, but in not really every version of Sprite. I think if you're playing like a pure Sprite build, this is not as good. But it is pretty good if you're playing Sprite Tearlaments, or if you're playing Sprite with the Nimble package, then this can be a pretty powerful card. But other than that, like you don't really have to play this card, and it's definitely only going to be a one of. So I could see this card coming down in price. But again, we do see that the Sprite Elf is up at like $18 as well as an ultra rare. But that card I think can see play in more decks personally. I think even Sprite Elf is played in pure Tearlaments that has, no Sprite whatsoever, just because it can revive back their level 2 monsters. I think a lot of decks can actually play Sprite Elf, but not too bad for 18. If you're trying to, build one of those decks, it's not terrible. Muckraker for 15 for the ultra rare, I would stay away from it. Secret rares are maybe worth it though, because they are like $3 to $4, which is pretty cheap. Lady Labyrinth, I didn't see any Labyrinth decks over the weekend. And this card is pretty generic. You can't play it in a lot of trap decks or strategies, but I just don't see trap decks being very successful this coming format. Spellbound, I've had a lot of people ask me about this card, and honestly, I would compare this to Salesman, where it seems like a really good, strong card on paper, but it's really not that great when it comes down to it. I think if you want to test around with this card, maybe you wait for the price to come down. I do think it's going to come down. I think a lot of people are still picking this card up, and they're going to be testing it out, but I do think it's going to lose popularity as we go on. It's an extremely strong card, don't get me wrong, but personally, I would still rather go with Dimensional Barrier because it deals with summons for the rest of the turn, whereas this only affects cards that are currently on the field. So to really utilize this card, you need to know every deck that you're playing against and know the optimum time to like flip this over and stop them. And if you don't do it at the right time, it could be really ineffective. I don't really know too much about the Draco Slayer, so I can't really speak to the strategy. I have heard that it's pretty good. But yeah, this price has come down quite a bit. Bestial Magnets at $12.50, lowest here, going to 13. Really surprising to see a super rare at this price. I think I can't even remember the last time I saw a super rare that went this terminal, like this early on in the set's history. Obviously, if you think back to, I guess it was Dama, where we had branded opening that ended up being like $25, $30 super rare, which is crazy. But that took a while. It was after the set was well opened and, kind of were disappearing from the shelf, so there wasn't as much to open. This set is still very much so brand new, first weekend. And yeah, crazy to see already, but makes sense. This card is absolutely broken, and you do play it at 3 copies if you're playing Bestials at all. Dragon Zealantis, pretty interesting card. I don't think it's the best, however, but definitely you could probably catch people off guard with this for sure. Cashier Unicorn, $7.50. I think this was a little bit cheaper. Maybe it's gone back up a little bit. You might want to start picking this up though, because when we get the rest of the Cashier support, it will be a pretty good deck. Right now, you're not really playing Unicorn, so like that's probably why the price is so low compared to Fenrir, because Fenrir is just really generic, and you don't really need to play Unicorn whatsoever. Actually, you really shouldn't until the rest of the Cashier cards come out. Daruma Dropper, or not Dropper, Daruma Karma Cannon, $8. Not bad. I don't think this card's going to see that much play either, but who knows? Maybe. I guess there's just not that many link decks that are out right now that you would really need this for, or that it would be the most effective card. Like, I mean, especially with Tearlaments, probably going to be representing like 50 to 55% of top cut, if not more, especially when Mavens comes out. They just aren't really playing links, so this really does nothing against them, other than just flipping their cards face down, but it doesn't actually remove them. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this card. Muckrakers, I guess they're up a little bit now towards 5, but still not very bad. And then the rest of the Bestial cards are a couple dollars a piece, like for Saranir and stuff. I'm not going to take a look at them, but they've been kind of hanging around the same price. Moving on to Mavens, the displays are now 104 and the boxes are at 29. So I guess I'll talk about sealed first. I'm not a big fan of this set sealed or, to crack open. And the reason why is basically because it has sleeves in here, which you get a whole pack of sleeves if you didn't know in each box. So to me, it feels like I'm paying they're probably adding on, $4 to $5 to the price of the box because they're including sleeves. And I don't really care for the sleeves. I don't use Konami sleeves. I don't really like them. I prefer to use Dragon Shield. So to me, I wouldn't really use them. And so it just seems like it's going to be a lot of sleeves. Like if I was opening up a bunch of boxes that I would have to either turn around and sell or, just store that I wouldn't use. So I wish that you wouldn't get the sleeves personally, just so they can put more packs in these boxes instead of having the sleeves, but that's just me personally. I do think a lot of the reprints in here are going to be extremely cheap though, and I am looking forward to being able to pick up cheap reprints. Right now the prices are really overpriced on TCG Player. If you are looking to pre-order some of these cards, what I would do is go over and check out Gamer's Choice. A lot of the cards might be sold out at this point because they kind of sell out quickly because their pricing is pretty good for pre-sale. But for example, I think I was seeing evenly matches at $10 on their website the last time I checked, or 10 to 12, something like that. So definitely go check them out before you go on here. And yeah, as you can see, there's only 3 listings for each one of these cards. So there's just not a lot of competition. So definitely don't order off here yet. I am personally really looking forward to getting the Appaloosa alternate art with the ultra rare instead of it being gold rare, because I just really am not a fan of gold rares. But yeah, I expect these prices to come down quite a bit. So definitely hang on. Don't order from TCG Player yet. It's not worth it. But overall, good set as far as the reprints and what we're getting in here. I think it's going to be a really solid set. Get a lot of the reprints that we need going forward. And then also getting the Shizu cards is going to be insane for the game as a whole. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for this set right now. I'm not going to go over individual cards yet because there's really no point. All these are way overpriced. Next, I just wanted to quickly talk about Runick because I did see a lot of Sprite Runick decks over the weekend, which has been a fairly popular strategy for Sprite. And right now, these cards are still pretty expensive. And I just wanted to note, if you were wanting to pick up Runick and, play around with Sprite, I would wait until after Maven comes out to pick these up, because I do think these prices might fall a little bit with a lot of people jumping on to playing Tearlament as Shizu. So you might be able to get a better deal on these cards and, just wait a week and a half. What is it, 2 weeks from now, I think? I think it comes out November 4th, which is, yeah, it's maybe 2 weeks away. So just wait. But if you have these, you can sell them and pick them up later, but I'm not sure that it's really going to drop out that hard. So it's probably not worth doing that. Unless you are planning on dropping this deck and picking up Tearlament, then yeah, just go ahead and sell these cards. I wouldn't hang on to them until, I wouldn't hang on to them just to sell at a future date. It's not really worth it at this point. As far as Power of the Elements, I wanted to take a look through and let's refresh real quick and see kind of how the YCS affected, kind of the top strategies that are going right now, which is Sprite and Tearlament. Okay. Interesting. The Ultimate Slayers are down to 290. That's not too bad. Let's see. So Primeval Planet, Perlierno, market price around 87. Plenty of listings. If you can get, I think when I went on here yesterday, they were going for around 85. If you are planning on playing Tearlaments or a version of Tearlaments that's going to be playing this field spell, I would definitely not wait for Mavens to come out. I would go ahead and pick them up now while they're down a little bit in price. They were at $110 not too long ago. So keep that in mind. I think 80 to 85 is a pretty good price for this card. Sprite Blue is down. Looks like a pretty good amount here. Not surprising. I did figure this card would kind of bottom out towards 40 to 45. And it might go lower, especially once this deck becomes less relevant. Going for around 50, so it is up a tiny bit. They did see a good amount of representation this weekend, so it kind of makes sense. That's another thing too, is I would, if you're not planning on continuing to play Sprite, I would get rid of them now while the prices are still high, or relatively high, before they come down in price, which they probably will once Mavens is out. But if you're planning on playing the deck, then just definitely keep it. There's no reason to sell it. Ultimate Slayer is down around $30. Pretty good price point for the card. Hasn't seen as much play as I thought it would, especially recently. I think people were definitely more on it when it first came out, but I think it's kind of faded a little bit recently. Gurus are up to 18. Makes sense. I mean, it's a pretty popular card in Tier Limit. Probably not going to go down anytime soon. Elves are at 20. These were at 17 to 18 yesterday. It's just going to kind of fluctuate probably between like 17 and 20 or so. But it's not a bad price to get them at if you still need them. But if you don't need them, I wouldn't be buying them. Rhino Heart is down towards, well, let's see. Yesterday it was at $16 flat. I actually did film this same market watch yesterday, but I was just so tired that I wasn't very coherent. So I figured I'd just redo it. $18, $17 to $18, not too bad here. Again, like if you want to play the Ishizu Tier Limit strategy, I would just go ahead and pick these up before they head back up towards 20 to 25, which is definitely a possibility. I did pick up Rhino Hearts just in case, or I think I only have 2 of them actually. I think I might need to get a third one. I don't know if I'm gonna play the deck or not, but it'll probably end up being a $22 to $25 card by the time Mavens does come out. So if I don't want to play it, I'll just sell them. I'm not like that excited for tier elements, honestly. It just isn't that fun of a deck, in my opinion. Or at least it doesn't really match my play style. If you play tier element, nothing against you. If you enjoy it, play what you enjoy for sure. Kid Kalos looks like it's maybe moving up in price towards the 8 range. And Kaleido Heart, $4. Yeah, that's why I'm saying don't invest into the new secret rare tier limit at the current price point, because this is also a one of, and it's $4 or $5 here. Not saying that the new one will be $4 or $5. I have no idea, but I would think it'd be at least $10, $11 or below. And Sprite starters down at $4 or $5 here. Nothing new. But again, if you want to invest in Sprite and play it, I would wait until after Mavens comes out. But that's really going to be it for today. I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about the YCS and the results. Actually, let's take a look at Flundereeze and see if that was affected at all, because they were pretty, I think they had 2 Flundereeze decks in the top 16, which is pretty good. I honestly thought that Flundereeze would kind of phase out with the format, but it's just been proving that Dimension Shifters is a hell of a card. Advent of Adventure, $23. It's kind of where it was, not really much movement there. Ultra Rares at 15s. Secret Rares at $4.50. That seems a little bit low, but we do have a super rare reprint, so it's just super accessible. And a lot of people that are playing Flundereeze are kind of more budget competitive players. So they're not necessarily going to care that much about the highest rarity, which is understandable. Secret Rares do look really nice, though. I do have Secret Rares. And everything else is, just pennies. Definitely one of the best budget decks for sure, if not the best budget deck out right now. Which is always great to have options like that for people wanting to play. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the Market Watch tomorrow, where we will be trying out, kind of a summary of cards I think you should be picking up. But let me know what you think about the coming format and what decks you're excited to play in the upcoming format. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.